All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. It's really nice to meet everyone virtually. So I'm going to go relatively quickly. I know we don't have a ton of time. This presentation could take anywhere from 15 minutes to 2 hours. So, it depends on the questions and how deep you want me to go into some of the technology. But I'll do the treetops for sure at this moment. So very excited to introduce the ES10 platform. I have one over my shoulder here, if you can see in the side window, but again, I'll focus on the presentation. This slide that I'm looking at and starting with really shows that GOJO, and one of the things I want everyone to connect with is that GOJO doesn't just focus on the hand sanitizer, the hand soap formulations, and the science around the efficacy of those formulations. But we've also been linking our technology kind of prowess and expertise to the dispensing of those formulations since our beginning. We have the first patent on the portion control soap dispensing technology from 1952. And so what you're seeing here is just a look since 2005 of our ability to grow market share, grow market size, and grow acceptance of hand hygiene dispensing through our innovation. And what we're showing here is our touch-free innovation. And we really have 3 steps on this pathway. You have TFX, launched in the early thousands, LTX. These are standard traditional touch-free soap dispensers. You have to put D-cell or C-cell batteries in them for them to operate. And when doing that, all the benefits of touch-free are there, but you add a new job, you add a new task to a maintenance team, and that's they have to maintain, monitor, and change batteries. And so late in the 2010s, we introduced the ES8 platform, and that is an energy on the refill platform that eliminates the need to change batteries. And what we've done with ES10, which is over my shoulder, and that is on the previous slide, is that we've evolved that technology. We also did this because it was important for us to follow the trends, especially coming out of the pandemic, of that shift to touch-free from manual dispensing, which is, we know end users and hand washers especially prefer not to interact physically with dispensing. So we have put all of our energy and innovation into our latest technology, which is the ES10 touch-free dispenser, which is a one-for-one upgrade, basically, of the ES8 platform. This is a video. I'm not going to play it right now, just due to time sensitivity, but I'll make sure that Matt and the team has access to the video if you haven't already seen it. It's a great, quick way to introduce the platform in a visual way. If there are 3 things that I want you to walk away from today, it's really getting comfortable with our less is more strategy. And less is more been used before. We're not unique in this, but we really feel that statement embodies what we've done with the ES10 dispensing platform and with the dispensing technology that we have here. And it's really about less, and more. Less maintenance, less waste, more ways to impress. And I'm going to spend some time, most of the time we'll be talking through what less maintenance, less waste, and more ways to impress, so that you all have at least a very quick understanding of, base level understanding of why this system delivers where others won't, and how it's really changing and going to change what end users can expect from a hand hygiene touch-free dispensing system. And so, because of everything we've done, we really are talking about our most simple, most sustainable touch-free dispensing. From a less maintenance perspective, these should start rolling in. We are really talking about 3 great things. One, we've got the at-a-glance design. That's the look of our refill. You can see the fill level from across the room. You can walk into a restroom with 6 soap dispensers, and you'll be able to see the fill level of each one of those soap dispensers without having to actually integrate or interact with those dispensers. Traditional closed cabinet dispensers, you're going to have to open each one of those just to see what that fill level is. We've reduced the amount of time just because you can quickly at a glance look and see the fill level. That's not new to this platform, but it's something we wanted to carry forward. The energy on the refill story, and that's really where you've got a battery that comes on every single refill, so you never have to change or think about the batteries that power the system for the lifetime of that system on the wall. All you're focused on when maintaining the system is it on the wall, and is there soap or hand sanitizer in the system? Otherwise, you're not worried about the battery, you're not worried about the energy levels. And we've evolved that system and that energy on the refill technology to work better, more consistently, and more completely in all market types and locations and use case scenarios. So we're just very excited to continue the energy on the refill kind of story that we've started back in 2017 with our ES8 platform. And new to this technology, and one thing we're very excited about is what we call a dispenser advisor. This is a complementary app-based technology that integrates with the NFC technology that is in our refills. So it's basically transferring usage data from the dispenser to the refill, and then you can use your phone, the NFC tag reader on your phone. Think Apple Pay, think Google Pay, and you can actually gather data off of that refill. I don't know if you can see my screen, but there's a tag here, and this phone, you can actually gather data on that. And then the app will calculate that data and show you information about when to change the refill or usage insights. Moving on, we've also got less waste. And this is really important because not only are people concerned about maintenance and labor and cost, but everyone is also being graded or expected or regulated in a lot of cases to have a strong sustainability profile in their facilities. And we're helping them do that in a number of ways with our less waste story. And what we're talking about is less plastic, 30% reduction in plastic, 38% reduction in greenhouse gas, and in improved recyclability. It's very easy to remove the battery from the system, remove the collar, and recycle all the plastics in one bin and recycle the battery or dispose of the battery per your local guidances. It couldn't be simpler. And again, that's all about making life easier. So it's a little bit of a maintenance story, but it's also about more faithfully recycling all the components of the refills, which is the real sustainability concern for any type of soap or hand hygiene dispensing device. And then another great thing about our sustainability story, our less waste story, is that all the formulations for ES10 have a third-party environmental certification of some form or another. We have some info that we can share later that walks you through what formulation meets what, but we have eco-label certifications and clean seal certifications on at least all of our formulations in one shape or another. So we're really thinking holistically around the entire system, formulations, dispensing technology, the battery recycling, to make sure that it has a strong sustainability story across the board. And then in more ways to impress, we really just continue to elevate the touch-free dispensing technology from an end user, from a hand washer experience perspective. The foam quality is fantastic. Again, I don't know if you can see me in the screen, but you get this great Dairy Queen blizzard effect where the foam piles high and dry in your hand. It's very easy to move throughout the hand and get very good coverage, which is important for our efficacy story. The sound of the dispenser is objectively quieter and more pleasing than our prior dispenser sounds. If you're familiar with the GOJO Purell dispensing technologies, our touch-free dispensers tend to have a little bit of a high-pitched kind of torqued sound, kind of, and this sound is much softer. It's a different type of pump mechanism, and that allows for really a more pleasing, it's almost more of like a chirp type sound. It's a little hard to duplicate authentically. I can mimic it. It's like a versus a meh. So again, I'm making myself look like an ass to a bunch of strangers, but you know that's part of the job, and hopefully that's something that resonates with you, because we find the end users and hand washers have really found that important. One thing that's really interesting about that is we think about a hospital room where it's late at night. It's important that you have you're not waking a patient up, or it might be a young child or a newborn baby in a hospital room, and those nurses need to be using those hand hygiene stations, but now they can do it with a little bit less impact on their local environment.
Even if it makes you feel any better too, I know exactly the sound you're talking about. So
okay, great.
Pretty good impression.
It's good to have the resonation there. Yeah, but it's a fun thing, and it's a good way to just kind of create some memory with a customer if you're introducing this system. So that's why I talk about it. I will note that the system's a little bit slimmer. It doesn't take much more space up from the height perspective, but it is about an inch thinner. So it fits a little bit better in tighter locations. And then we do have a wall plate design that covers up any wall damage for prior systems. So we've thought through all the different elements of what changing the size of the dispenser does. And then another great feature about this dispensing system is that we've adjusted and evolved the hand sensing technology here. Essentially, we've lowered the point where you're actually engaging with the system. You're not touching it, obviously. And by doing that, we've made it so that errant UV light or strobes from fire strobes or reflective vests from construction workers or maintenance teams don't have a propensity to set the dispenser off incidentally. So it really only goes off when you have a hand underneath it and where you want it to be in order to get the product. So I'm just going to kind of keep chugging along here. And then so everyone knows when you get this presentation, you know, what we do is then we go into the details that I just kind of went through over time. You know, the evolved energy and the refill experience really means you can go into these high usage, these surge settings like stadiums or concert venues or airports, and have much more confidence in the touch-free system. This is a slide that gives a little bit of a high-level overview of how that system works. Energy in the refill is similar to how a car works. You got a car battery that you don't change every week. You really don't need to change it much ever. And there is a battery on the dispenser that you never have to change for the life of the system. We've tested it up to 7 years and more, and we know that because we've made the system in general more energy efficient, it was like making a more energy efficient or better gas mileage engine. And the gas is the battery that you put in the refill. So every time you're putting a refill in, it's like filling the gas tank up, and it takes less energy. And we put more gas energy because we're now using a AA battery where our prior system used a coin cell battery. So it's a very high level comparison, but it's a way to just kind of help people understand what we've done with the energy on the refill technology. Going on, this overview of the at-a-glance design. And then here's a little bit more of a deep dive into the dispenser advisor technology and why we're really excited about it. Essentially, what you're doing is you're engaging with the refill's engaging with the dispenser, and then you're capturing data that is transferred via that refill from the dispenser. So the process looks like you pull the refill out of the dispenser, you tap it by using the app that's on your phone, and then the app collects the data and then provides you with an estimation of when to change a refill or information about all the dispensers in your fleet. You can share specific buildings or groups of dispensers across different apps. So everybody who has the same app or the same administrator will see all the same information in real time. And when it gets updated by one person, it gets updated for everyone on that team. It's just a simple, pragmatic, no extra charge, no high touch training required way of getting some insights from a dispenser. And it's also not connected to Wi-Fi or to Bluetooth or any gates. This is all just very much something that's being calculated based on the phone when you integrate directly with the dispenser and the refill. This is what that app looks like. There's a learning status bar that allows you to know that this dispenser is put out enough product and has been tapped enough times to give you good, consistent information. And there are really just three things that you do. You collect the data from a dispenser to build that knowledge. You replace a refill, tap the refill to convey the continuous knowledge between refills. And then you can edit information about the dispenser. You can change the name, or, oh, we didn't want a dispenser here, we moved it here, let's rename it, things like that. And some of the info you get is things like serial number of the product, the product type, size of the refill, install date, expiration date, the number of dispensers that dispenser has provided over a lifetime, the number of refills that have gone through that dispenser. So really interesting and great data that's very helpful for maintenance leads or facilities managers to start really getting more detail about the consumption rates of their products and where they're being used, how they're being used in a way that we've never really been able to offer in a complementary way before. Um, and as far as the smart suite of products that we have at Purell, we really look at this as kind of filling a gap. Previously, we had some great stuff with our at a glance design and energy in the refill. Those are great ways to reduce labor and simplify the process of maintaining a dispenser, but they don't give you any information. Alternatively, we also have our Purell SmartLink, which is like the supercar of smart information. It requires a Wi-Fi or a Bluetooth data connection port. There's an investment involved in that. It's really for massive systems, but you do get like a personalizable dashboard, and you get real-time updates on the information. We really see this as falling right in the middle and really being a great value add, complementary way of dipping your toes onto the Internet of Things, smart system information, and what you can do what you can do with our type of dispensing technology. And no one else is thinking this way. This is a Purell exclusive. This slide really overviews the less waste story. Again, 30% reduction in plastic, and evolved recyclability, greenhouse gas emissions, all the certifications. That goes into more detail about them. The other thing that we want to call out is that the soap that is used with ES10 is our clean release technology soap. And we did this intentionally because one, it's how the new designed pump will work. It's designed specifically to work with the new pump. But we also feel that this is the best soap going forward with our premium touch-free solution because it's the strongest, it's the safest, it's the most sustainable soap product that we have in the market. It removes more dirt and germs than a regular bland soap. But it isn't an anti-bac soap either. So it really is like the best bland soap that you can have on the market. The interfacial tension, the ability to clean and grab dirt and grimes out of the cracks in your skin is beyond comparison in this type of soap. It's safe. It's made with plant-based ingredients. There's no harsh preservatives or antibacterials or irritants or anything like that. And then it's sustainable in that it releases very quickly once water hits it. So you're using less water over the lifetime of the dispenser. So there's a really great sustainability story about how much water is being used to remove this. And then it's also made with 50% renewable energy. So there's a fantastic story to lean on when you're talking about the soap that we're putting through this dispenser as well. Some more information on the soap. And then this slide, when you get it, this is how you tell that more ways to impress story. The design is updated. Oh, I forgot to mention we have this beautiful chrome finish. The foam quality, I already showed you, that's best demonstrated in person. If you're not comfortable making an ass of yourself and making sound effects, we give you the sound in this presentation so you can play the sound, or you have the dispenser. And here's a visualization of what the different dispense zone looks like compared to our ES8. And this is an overview of that new chrome finish. It is something that we won't rebate back to $0. There's a bit of a premium element to this, but it is really nice, and it's great to have a solution where you can provide what looks like a completely chromed stainless steel dispensing technology, and you can put that on a wall in a Class A office or really, really high-end lawyer office or executive suite in a building. We know that this is something that's been asked for with our previous systems, and we've had trouble delivering on it. And now we have this really great chrome. It is a plastic cabinet dispenser, but it is chrome plated with a clear coat varnish over top that gives it a really nice brushed appeal. So it really is a very nice aesthetic. If you need samples, you just reach out to your GOJO partners, and we can provide samples. And all of this comes together to really show that this dispensing platform, this is the touch-free dispensing platform for all markets. It works everywhere. It's ideal in healthcare. It's great in colleges and universities. Airports is somewhere where we've tested it. And we just know, and we're very excited about our ability to get into more stadiums and more performance venues, areas that have traditionally been challenging for touch-free dispensing. And we just know that this is going to be something that really hopefully takes over the world from a touch-free dispensing technology perspective. The SKU set is relatively consolidated as well. One thing that we really didn't want to do is throw a billion SKUs at our partners like you guys and make this hard to sell or complicated. You're essentially getting 3 colors of the dispenser. You're getting 2 different, where you're getting 4 different SKUs for soap and hand sanitizer in really 2 formulations, but they also have fragrance and fragrance free. So that's why you're seeing a 7 here, but we also have a short fill version of one of our hand sanitizers. There are 2 stand designs. They're simple, they're elegant, graphite and white. And then we have a number of accessories, the wall plates, the floor shields that protect the floor and the walls. And those are just, common things that we do with all of our dispensing technology, and they're available with ES10 as well. And so, kind of the to drive this home, not only is this a great thing from an end user in that we're giving them the less maintenance, the less is more story, less maintenance, less waste, more ways to impress. But on the left side of this slide, we're really saying, this is a fantastic opportunity for us and you guys, our partners as well. We're solving important customer problems. If your customer is asking you to be there for one reason, say they want you there for sustainability, you can walk in there with a really strong sustainability story. But now you're there and you can tell them all about the labor savings, the less maintenance story, and you can show them the more ways to impress story. So I feel like there's a really strong kind of, triumvirate of ways that we can impress with this system. If a customer asks you, to come in and it's just about soap quality, we can walk in with that story as well, because we have the whole package here. It's also something where we're able to easily demonstrate value because of those labor savings, because of the sustainability story, because this is the same cost of the ES10, ES8 system. We're basically replacing that system with this one in the long run. We're not upcharging any of this. This is just the next iteration of ES8. So we're not really asking for a huge change in pricing or cost. This makes sense. And then this system's designed to last longer and more consistently. And it's going to be an annuity maker. So you put a dispenser on the wall, you've got it there for 7 years. Everyone's going to love it. They're going to enjoy it. And over that time, you're just throwing refills, you're throwing consumable product through it. And that is an increased long-term revenue. And that's an annuity for all of us. And so, we really want to just show that there's benefits across the entire supply chain network here. And that's why we're so excited about ES10 in general. And then these are some of the motivators. I don't think I have to go over them. I want to make sure I leave time for questions or a closing statement here. But, and we also have all sorts of great tools. I encourage everyone to spend some time working through the presentation. But one thing I will call out is, and I didn't play it, but we have an excellent suite of videos that are available to everyone through GOJO Connect. We've got long form videos, and we have a bunch of, we call them snack videos. They're 15-second videos. They're great for texting to a customer or sending in an email. Just a really quick snippet. What is that? I can't talk anymore. A really quick moments to explain elements of the system. You want to talk about less maintenance? Here's a 15-second video to summarize it. You want to talk about dispenser advisor? Here's 15-second video. So I'll leave it there. I'll let Matt jump back in, or if anyone has any questions.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. Appreciate it. Yeah, folks, any questions, you can feel free to unmute or put it in the chat, and I can give those a read. Stephen, one question. So you had mentioned in terms of where this is seeing success. So obviously, this can be used in a lot of different verticals. And you had mentioned in particular, stadiums, airports, things like that see a lot of high volume. Because there are kind of so many different benefits to this system, we have a lot of members that sell in education and healthcare. What are the kind of the messages around this system that you might lead with in those markets compared to airports or a larger facility like that?
Yeah, so I'll just go with healthcare, and I'll go with colleges and universities, which is one where there's a nuance for every college. They all have kind of different whether or not it's geographical kind of considerations, or just more of the higher learning kind of elements there. And we had an opportunity at Penn State where they were very interested in sustainability, and they were interested in having a strong sustainability story when they evolved their dispenser assortment across all facilities. So that was the example I kind of used before. We walked in with a strong sustainability story, but it was so gratifying and it was just an exciting meeting, because then all their attention, because we had satisfied the sustainability story, all their attention then went to the labor saving story. And the fact that they're like, oh, well, yeah, I guess we didn't think about, not only are we cutting down on our sustainability and we're meeting that need, but now I'm not replacing batteries. This dispenser advisor is game changer for us. We all have phones that we can use, and for one guy to be able to check in on a facility without having to actually go there, that's a big deal. So that was an example where one thing led to another. Healthcare is the same way. Healthcare is much, a lot of times we're in the room because they want Purell and they know that that's the best, but they're always like, well, but we got to pay for it. But now you can again show these are the labor savings that you're going to get by investing in Purell with ES10 system. Not only do you have the dispenser advisor, but a lot of healthcare systems have older systems. They're using manuals still, so the concept of energy in the refill, the fact that you don't have to maintain batteries, that's still a relatively novel and new thing, especially in some of those older, larger healthcare networks. So we're still extremely excited to be able to walk in with that story and in a more robust and more confident way with ES10 than we have been before. And so, those are two examples. The other ones are airports, again, where we had ES8 in a bunch of airports. We have touch-free business in a lot of airports. That throughput can be challenging. That throughput can, it can take a system down. Having a dispenser that is just so much more reliable over the long run has really built a lot of confidence for us in those meetings. And again, one thing begets another, and that's what's beautiful about the less is more story, is that they're all kind of intertwined and they all meet needs that really create an underpinning of value. Depending on what market you're in, you just have to figure out which one you start with. So it's a bit of a consultative selling approach with ES10, because you kind of have to listen and what are the problems that you really have rather than ones you perceive you have. Because a lot of times people think that they have an issue with batteries when they really have an issue with labor, and we'd be solving both of those.
Yeah, that adaptability, I can definitely see how that can, work to your advantage in a bunch of different situations. One thing I just want to mention that Kara put in the chat, the ES10 soap and sanitizer refills and dispensers that we've been talking about are in the SSS RDCs right now. So they are available to you guys through your local RDCs. I just wanted to make that clear as well, so that you can start taking advantage of these right away if you're interested. So I'm going to bring it to a close. I don't see any other questions, but folks, if you do have any questions that you think of later, you can always email info@triple-s.com, and either one of our regional directors or someone at the GOJO team will be able to get that answered for you. I'd also just encourage you guys to take a look at the announcement that we have on the ES10 on the members only site. That links to a lot of the really great marketing materials that Stephen mentioned that are available to you guys to really help sell the system. There's a wide array of content there ready to go for you. And then we'll also be sending out this presentation as well, so that you can have that in your back pocket and have a little bit more ammo for your teams when you go out and present this to customers. So with that said, I'm going to bring this session to a close. Stephen, thanks so much for joining us today. It was great learning more about the system. And I want to thank the SSS members for taking time out of your day and joining us on the first webinar of the new year. We look forward to having a great 2024 with all of you, and we will see you guys on the next one. Take care.
Thanks so much.